everyone, this is Anjum. Welcome back to my channel Sahitya Abhyasa Academy. So today shall see Puritanism in America. Puritanism in America, like colonial period also calling this name too, and age of faith in American literature. So I thought to take class on American literature, and also it is a part of syllabus part of UG and PG. So before moving on Puritanism or colonial period, let's have a small discussion about America, how the word has introduced to the world. As we know that America, it is discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492. Okay, as he only discovered the land, the new land, but there is no one, he is not given the name that particular land like America. After that, there is one more Italian explorer observed that land, that is new land, that is what called new continent. It is not a Asia, more than it is a new continent, that is Amerigo Vespucci. Yes, Amerigo Vespucci has proved that this land is not an Asia, it is a new continent. So by giving this title, that is a new continent, there is one more German map maker was named this new continent, that is America. Getting my point? He is the fellow German map maker. The name is Martin Walt C. Muller. Okay, Walt C. Muller has given that name to that particular new continent land, that is America, because he is the fellow. Why he put this name means Amerigo Vespucci is the fellow who introduced this land like a new continent. So for that reason, who is that German map maker has put his name to that land, that is America. So here America is discovered by Christopher Marlowe, but Marlowe himself has not given that particular name. After that, Amerigo Vespucci has introduced this new land is nothing but a new continent. Rather, it is an Asia. It is not an Asia, but it is a new continent. After that, the German map maker has again he studied that particular map, and he came to know that what the new continent is given the name by the Amerigo Vespucci. So he himself given the name, that is America, to this land, that is what called America. Okay now, so hope so you have got. Next, then how that American literature has become a part of a studying literature, become a part of the study as a literature. As we know, the British literature, there we study one era, one age, that is Puritan age. What happens here? So as we know, the characteristics of Puritan era, Puritans theme is that we have to reject the entertainment things. Taking the entertainment is nothing but making the sin. This is what the thought of Puritans. Am I right? This is what the thought of Puritan. And whatever the things you are writing, the writing should be on Bible, spiritual things, religious things, sermons. These are the main themes must be for writing any literature. This is what the words of Puritans. So, but what happens next? The people are not at all ready to accept this theme for a long time. They wanted to take the entertainment from the literature. Like after this, the new era is begin. That is restoration period. Whatever the entertainment things has been closed during Puritan era, again it is restored. Like in a Puritan era means like theater were closed. Whatever the love, emotions, feeling, these these themes were had stopped while writing any literature. That time again the public has started demand for writing the entertainment literature. So there the new era begins, that is restoration period. This is what the little background about Puritanism and restoration. So by seeing this thought, like again the restoration period is begin, so the people are started to take the entertainment from their literature. So they demand to read the things, to watch the theaters, they demand to visit the theater and try to, and they wanted to take the entertainment. So by seeing this thing, so Puritan has started to migrated a new land, that is America. Got? So because by seeing the fed up of the society, and of course the King Charles also has not giving the priority to the Puritan thoughts more than the king itself is a very vicious, luxurious. He wants to lead his life in a luxurious without showing any spiritual thinking about the Bible and a God and a faith, everything. So he himself putting interest in taking the entertainment from the reading text, from the theater. So with that movement, so Puritan has started to migrate to the America. So there the literature is taking the birth. That is what called American literature. So when they take the entry in America, that there the new era begins, that is colonial period or Puritan era or the faith of age. This is what called. Hope so you have understood. And one more thing. As we know, the British people's thought is to invade all countries. So among them, America is also one of country where British people are started to rule on America also, because America itself, it is a land where we have seen so many tribes, but there is no any their own language, their own culture like that, because most of the people have showed their interest to capture that particular land, like British. From here British, from there French people, they started to invaded on American land, but here the British people has got the victory over that particular land called the America, and they have started to rule on America. Getting my point? So here French is started to show their rule on Canada. So again the French people are diverted from America, and they take the interest to invade it on Canada. So they have gone to there itself, but here British people has colonized to American country. So this is how the first British people has taken the entry in that particular land called America. So during that time the Puritans has got the entry over American country. Getting my point? This is what the little background. Hope so you have understood. What happened next? So Puritanism in America, like colonial period or early American literature or Puritan period or age of faith. These are the subtitles of that colonial period of Puritanism in America. Let's begin. Then what is the meaning of Puritanism in the American context? Puritanism in America refers to the religious, moral, social and cultural system established by the English Puritans who migrated to New England in the 17th century to practice their faith freely. Very nice. See, let me tell you, when the British people has invaded in America, they just started their colonized in America, and they just started to rule in that America. Particularly, they stayed a particular land called the New England. New England means the American country itself gave the name of New England by the British people. So here with this Puritans have started to take the entry in America, and that America is nothing but invented by the British people, that name is New England in 17th century to practice their faith freely, because in British all are making disturb to the Puritans. More than the people are not ready to accept the spirituality. They are not ready to accept the whole life must be spent in a only spiritual, like a religious. No, they wanted to take the entertainment, and more than there is no any respect to the Puritans in a British land like England. So that's why with that thought they entered, means they has migrated to the America. That America is turned as a name of New England from British people. Getting my point? So here America is colonized by the British people also. During 17th century, there they started to show their practice with the freely. The faith freely means, like in America, Puritans become a religious faith. They started their life, how the life should be led in a religious way, and a social code and a political system and literary tradition and the foundation of early American culture. So this is what done by the Puritanism. The Puritans were coming from Britain land. Got? Fine. Then what about the historical background migration to America? So how it is? Puritans are started to migrate to America. The reason is the cause of migration. Like the Puritans left England because the persecution by the English monarchy. So their English monarchy has not at all given the respect, importance to the Puritans, and they are not ready to accept the words of Puritans, and dissatisfaction with the Church of England. So here, so as we know, there is a king who told that the church itself will run by the words of king, not by the words of Bible. This is what the words of monarch. By listening these words, the Puritans were not at all accept this thing. So this is what called dissatisfaction. Whether there is only one path, there is only one way, whether they should accept the king's words, which is coming through the church words. But according to them, the church words should be coming from the Bible's words. This is what their thought. But their thought is not at all run there. So that's why they felt very dissatisfaction to being in England. So better to left this place called the Britain, called England. So better to go somewhere. We have to go somewhere and we make a settle, and again we start our life how we think like that. This is what the Puritans, and they did. And desired for complete religious freedom. Yes, no one should be make any kind of a restriction, rules on our devotion, like our religious way kind of a living life. There is no one should make any kind of a restriction on us. This is what they have the desire to lead their life with freedomly, like that is to religious freedom, and hope to build a godly society. So as we know, during Puritan era, we see the Puritans and Cavaliers, like Cavalian poets belong to the king. Whatever the king says, they write, those are the things. But Puritan rejected such thing. Whatever the Bible tells, whatever the God remembering of the God is only the spiritual way. So this is what the thought of Puritans, and they just wanted to create a kind of a godly society, but they are unable to create such society in England. So that is what they started to migrate in particular land called New England, which is the before name is called America. And the great migration 1630s, like the thousands of Puritans migrated to New England, established colonies like Connecticut, Rhode Island. These are the names of New England. So they started to settle here, and they started to lead their life in a religious way, in a religious freedom way. And the Mayflower means 1620s, though technically separatist pilgrims, not strict Puritans, they laid the groundwork for Puritan America. Yes, once they got the entry in America, they started to live their life for the sake of nation called America. Like they laid the groundwork for Puritan America. So then the Puritan ideal is city upon a hill. Like Puritans believed that they were God's chosen people, meant to build a model Christian society. Yes. So we are created by, or we are chosen by the God's selection or a God's word. Means chosen. We are chosen a people. That is God selected people. So if the God is selected us, means we should create a kind of a society. The society should only show the devotion towards to the God. Such kind of a society we have to create. This is what the words of Puritan. So they wanted to build a model Christian society. So this idea was expressed by the John Winthrop. He is very important. John Winthrop in his famous sermon, that is a model of Christian charity, where he said America would be a city upon hill. So this is what the title given by that John Winthrop. He is a famous Puritan writer. So in his famous sermon, that is a model of Christian charity, in that he put a title, that is a city upon a hill, because the city, in that people of that city shows devotion towards to the God, towards to the faith, towards to the religious life. This is what the words of, who is that? John Winthrop. And the meaning of this, their society would be watched by the world. Their society would be watched by the world, so they must live as a model examples, and the failure would bring God's punishment. Yes, if this country lead the life in a religious way, means this country will become an example to the another country. Getting my point? Because the life should be lead in a very faithful way, truth way, devoted way towards to the God. If once we did this thing, means definitely our land will become an example to the another country. If we did any failure for such plans, such thing, the God will punish us. The gods means would bring God's punishment on us. So our main goal is that our country should be show the devotion towards to the God and follow the strictly the religious rules. Following the religious rule is nothing but leading our life in a freedom way. This is what the thoughts of Puritans. So they started to create such kind of an environment in America. Getting my point? In that America. And core religious belief of American Puritanism is Calvinist theology, like total depravity, like humans are born sinners. According to them, according to the meaning of Puritans, about the people, like humans are born in sinners. So if a people have got born in a society, means their duty must be show the devotion to the God. If they did not, they are completely considered as a sinners. Yes, and predestination, God has already chosen the saved. Yes, predestination. If I am following to the religious faith, means I am chosen by the God. If I am not followed the religious one, means you are going to soon to meet the punishment. This is what the words of Puritans. And election, only few are the elect. Yes, who is going to be part of to taking care of the Puritan people. And like the irresistible grace, like God's grace cannot be rejected. Yes, if someone has got a word that you must come under the Puritan's life, means you should accept that one. If this words is reached to your ears, means you have to accept this one, because it is what the grace of God. He gives a chance to make your soul as if pure. Yes, if you avoid this one, means you are going to become a sinner. And supreme authority of the Bible. So according to the Bible's, sermons, they have to lead their lives according to the Bible, preach, teach. They have to follow their life like, and the direct relationship between God and the individual. Yes, we usually do the prayers. While doing that prayer, we talk with the God. Yes, while talking to the God makes us to relief like. So this is what they put the direct relation with the God. There is no any between us, neither king nor queen. This is what the words of Puritans. And Puritans consistently search for signs of salvation in their lives. So how we get the salvation to our life? While showing the devoutness towards to the Bible, towards to the God, writing the sermons, writing the spiritual works. This is what the words of Puritans. Getting my point? And the social and moral life of Puritans, how they lead their life, how the socially how they are leading in their life, and morally how they were leading their life. Like Puritan society was based on strict discipline. Yes. There are some rules where everyone must follow. What kind of rule? If you want to write any work, the work must be on spiritual things, religious things, or related to the Bible things, or related to the God. These are the things where everyone must be follow. This is what strict discipline. And hard work as a divine duty. Hard work, showing the hard work, or hard works like making the prayers, doing the good deeds to the common people, to the everyone. Like, I'm plain dress and a speech. There is no any entertainment kind of a dresses, fancy kind of a dresses. No, always put a decent kind of a dress that shows that there is no any like entertainment, or not like showing the desires of living our life like. And a speech, always speak about the truth, about the religious, about the spiritual things, about the God, about the good deeds. This is what the, if a person is leading in a life like a Puritans, like in colonial period, these are the things where every people must follow. And moral surveillance of the community, morality must be there in their way of living life. And the severe punishment if you are not follow such thing, that is adultery, darkness, blasphemy and idleness, that would be considered as a having or facing any great punishment. Yes, this is what the words, this is what the way of living life of Puritanism in America, called New England. Okay, now next, they believed that, according to Puritans, American Puritans believed that, so work is worship and idleness is a sin. How much you do the work, like devotion towards to the God, showing the faithful towards to the God, always lead your life in a truthful, always doing good deeds. These are the things is called the worship. But if you show the idleness, always doing the wrong things, no any doing any work, nothing work is you are doing, everything looks like a sin. This is what the words of Puritans. So see how the migrated people of Britain, Puritans, are started to live in a New England called America. So American tribes are started to give the support to these people, and they started to follow the how the words is told by such people, and they become the part of those people also. So those people is called as a American Puritanism. Got? Next, education and intellectual life. How it is? Puritans strongly supported education because everyone must read the Bible. Yes. Because see, Puritans strongly supported to the education means every child must read and write, to know, to read Bible. Everyone should get the education like reading and writing. Once they got, means their main motto is to read the Bible. And ignorance was seen as a devil's weapon. Ignorance, ajnana. If you are not able to write and read, means you are not able to know the God's words. If once you are not know the God's words, means you would be lead your life like a devils, and you will become like a weapon to the devil. Devil will make you do all kind of a bad things. Getting my point? Like telling the lies and making the wrong things, doing the adultery things. These are the things were done by the devils. The devils can be, will become a part of your life. So better to get the education. When you get the education, you will read the Bible. When you read the Bible, you will become a moral person. This is what the words of Puritans. And major educational founders is like Harvard College to train the ministers, public schools for the Bible reading. Exactly. Thus Puritanism laid the intellectual foundation of America. So finally, intellectual foundation means all are got the equal right to get the education. The main purpose is to read the Bible. Yes, once all people read the Bible means our country will become a model to the another country, and they started to follow our steps, our principles, and they wanted to become like us also, because our land will become like a model to the all country. So this is what the Puritans laid the, what is that? Intellectual foundation in America. Intellectuality comes by the getting the good education. And what about the political system or theocratic democracy? The Puritans colonies practices a unique mix like theocracy, like rule by the God's law. Exactly. Democracy, public participation. So what are the key features of this political system? Yes. So if particular country is running through the any kind of a law means it must be the Bible's law, God's law, like Bible's law, not by the king or a queen's law. This is what the words of Puritanism. And what about the key features of this thought? The church membership required for political rights. Exactly. Laws based on biblical principles, and the ministers guided political life, and the community decision made collectivity. Nice. Church membership required for political rights. Everyone have a rights to be a part of this church member. And laws based. So after becoming a church member, they can create a law, but the law must be coming from the biblical principles, taking the references of Bible, what the words is told in a Bible, how the governance should be run, that should taken from the Bible principles only, means Bibles only. And the ministers guided political life. Ministers is nothing but the taking care of church, taking care of spirituality, taking care of religious things, and guide to the religious thing. Those people should guide to the political life. And political life means there is no any governance should be ruled over church. The church should rule over politics, like. And the community decision made collectivity. Whatever the community makes a decision that should be taken from the all people's decision. That is what called collectivity. This is what the political system is done during Puritan era, Puritanism in America. Then what about the Puritan conflicts and intolerance? Despite fleeting persecutions, Puritans themselves were intolerant of dissents. Where? From the Britain. Once they have rejected from that particular land his persecutions, they started to feel themselves as a intolerance. How? Roger Williams says, advocated religious freedom, banished from Massachusetts and founded Rhode Island. And means these are the writers who shows the intolerance doing on the Puritanism by putting their own words like advocated religious freedom and banished from the Massachusetts and founded Rhode Island. And Anna Hutchins, she means challenged male religious authority and tried for heresy and banished. Yes, and Salem witch trials, mass hysteria and execution shown Puritans fear of sin, spirituality and spiritual anxiety and superstition. These are the things where if someone has crossed such things, they are going to be punished. This is what the words of such writers. Very simple way. And characteristics of American Puritan literature. How it is? Religious seriousness. Everyone must write if any people want to write anything means they must include the religious thing first. They must give the priority to the writing on religious thing. This is what called seriousness. And simple plain style. Simple. How the life is leading in their life without taking the any entertainment, not speaking about the love, emotions and everything. That should be away from writing the things. It should be on only religious thing and didactic purpose to teach morals. If you write any work, the work should be expressed about the morals. Those morals must be coming from the Bible, spiritual or religious. Heavy use of biblical imagery. I told you, whatever you read the things must be taken from, influenced from the biblical things only, and focus on sin and guilt. When a person does any kind of a bad thing, how it is made to the sin, such things, and a guilt. After you show the repentance, that shows the guiltiness, and guilty turns into repentance. Okay, now then repentance and redemption, and emphasis on spiritual self-examination. How much I put myself, my soul into the spirituality. Such kind of a things should write on a literature, and forms of such as a, so if you want to write any work, neither drama is not allowed writing in Puritanism. Okay, now so better to write like a sermons, diaries, spiritual autobiographies and a poetry. These are the things where they have to follow. They have to become a part of literature. And what about the major American Puritan writers? See, American Puritan writers, that is Anna Bradstreet. She is very important. So her major work is The 10th Muse Lately Sprung Up in America, To My Dear and Loving Husband, Upon the Burning of Hours. So what are the significance of her work? The first major female poet in America. Keep this thing, this is very important, oftentimes asked in competitive exam. Blends personal emotion with Puritan faith. After becoming a Puritan poet, so what kind of a emotions she got towards to the religious thing, following like personal emotions while accepting the Puritanism, becoming part of Puritan. And Jonathan Edwards, the famous sermon, Sinners in the Heads of an Angry God, and the feature is intense fear of divine punishment. The punishment which is given by the divine, it would be very effective on human being if human being has done any kind of a bad thing. Emphasis on humans helplessness. Yes, how the people are not at all ready to give the help to the another people or cooperate to the another people. And so how the once a people is not help to the another person, mean in his life he will face a kind of a critical situation. That time he is unable to solve his own problem. He become like a helplessness. So this is how happen in their life once he lead his life in a immoral way. And central figure of the Great Awakening. Yes, Great Awakening comes only by recalling or remembering or following the principles of biblical imagery or biblical things. Then third poet is a William Bradford. So here the major work of him is Of Plymouth Plantation. Importance about his work, his poem, historical and spiritual account of early settlers and mixture of history and of faith. Exactly. Then Cotton Mather work, Magdalena Christie American, wrote on theology, witchcraft, science and history. These are the major writer of American Puritanism. Who are they? The first one is Anna Bradstreet, Jonathan Edwards, William Bradford, and the fourth one is Cotton Mather are the major poet of American Puritanism in America. Then what about the major theme in American Puritan literature? That is sin and salvation. Yes, if you do any sin, make repentance and you will get the salvation. And the divine judgment. You have to wait. If you have done any kind of a crime, have the patience. Make yourself soul as a pure. Once it is dead, you will get the divine judgment like. And the human corruption and the God's provinces and the spiritual struggle, heaven versus hell, individual versus community, faith and doubt, suffering as a God's test. Yes, if you are facing so much sufferingness, so much suffering in your life, means that is what the another test which is given by the God to you. How much you have, how much you keep patience with yourself once the critical problems, troubles comes in your life, means such things are the major themes of the writing. And the mission of God's chosen people, the mission. Yes, if today I have turned myself to the morality, to doing the spiritual work, to following the biblical principle, it is the sign of that God has chosen to you to take you to the right path. This is what the thought of Puritans, that is American Puritans. Getting my point? Hope so you have got. Next, American, that Puritanism and the Great Awakening. What kind of awakening? How it came? Like the Great Awakening is nothing but the religious revival. Renewed Puritan religious intensity, like emphasized on emotional conversation, personal salvation, revival preaching, emotional conversation, keeping with the God. When we do pray now, we speak with the God. As we speak that, He is listening our words. This is what the faith. And the personal salvation, yes, how I can make my life completely salvation, by doing the good things, by doing the good morals, like revival preaching, oftenly listening the preaching words of Bible, like. And then this is what the Great Awakening thinks reached to the people of America. Okay, na? Next, Jonathan Edwards, what he says, he was the most important intellectual reader. Exactly, during this moment, what happened? Weakened rigid Puritan authority, yes, encouraged democratic religious thinking, and prepared to ground for American independence. Yes, still now we have seen the America become as a colonized country. Colonized is like British people has started rule on American country. So the Jonathan Edward himself created a kind of a country, a kind of a thought should be kept in the mind of American people. How? Weakened rigid Puritan authority, like encourage democratic religious thing. Democratic, no, everyone have a right to talk. That is what democratic religious thing, and prepared the ground for American independence. Yes, we have our own land called America now, so we don't need any kind of a colonial rule, empirical rule on us. Better to, we should have independence without showing any dominance on our India, like the British people. So decline of Puritanism in America. How the Puritanism is day by day declining. How? Commercial growth and materialism. Yes, commercial growth and materialism, urbanization and a trade, scientific thinking and enlightenment ideas, and religious diversion, loss of the original missionary zeal. Very beautiful, sir. See, when the Puritan came over in new land called America, in the beginning itself, the tribe people called America, they have started to follow the principles of these people what given on them. But laterly, the day by day, they become as a revolutionary, like a people. So they start to, instead following the religious one, they started to lead their life in a commercial growth. Means most of the people called America, they started to give the importance to the commercial growth and materialism life. All our people turn to lead their life in a materialistic life, instead following the spiritual one. And urbanization and trade, day by day they try to become developed one, and in a trade, everything. And the scientific thinking and enlightenment idea, scientific thinking, like as we know that following the modernity, yes, modernity has been introduced to the American land. Yes, and the religious diversification. There is no one. Diversification means religious has been taking the diversification, means that modernity, commercial growth, materialism has been taking the priority part in American land. So for that reason, Puritanism kind of a concept has removing day by day in American people. And loss of the original missionary zeal. What is the original missionary zeal? Is that they wanted to create a country. The country should be, or country become a model to the another country. How it become a model? Once we lead our life like a religious freedom, religious way, then only it become like a model to the other country. This is what their real zeal, this is what their real original missionary zeal. But it is day by day going to the loss. By the early 18th century, during till now, we have seen the influence of 17th century, that is Puritans on America. But at the end of 17th century and the beginning of in the 18th century, the strict Puritan control had ended. Whatever they made the rules, regulation, principles, it is almost going to an end. But it is moral influence remain. But yes, the morality kind of a thought, it is influenced on the American people, but it is almost ended. That is Puritan control. Control kind of a word has been ended. Only the moral kind of influence can be still remain in the land called people, American people. Legacy and influences of American Puritanism. Puritans deeply shaped like American character, hard worker. So here American Puritanism, it is deeply shaped to the American people. How American Puritanism? They whatever they gave the principles to the land called America, that has turned in a different way. Like all American people are started to become like a hard worker, self-discipline, moral seriousness and individual responsibility. So they have taken their life in a very responsibility way. How American literature influences writer like Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville. So Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter is a direct critic of Puritan moral rigidity. So if we read this novel, we come to know that how that writer Nathaniel Hawthorne has criticized on the Puritans moral rigidity. Then what about next? American political thought, republication and moral accountability of rulers and continuity based democracy. So till now the Puritans, the Bible, the spiritual has taken the part of ruling over the American people. Now the democracy is started. All started to making questioning on about the Bible, about the spiritual, more than they started to thinking their life in a scientific way, technical way, like materialistic way. Like so Puritanism and versus modern American values. Like Puritanism God-centered life, whereas modern America become as a individual-centered life. Yes, if we often time follow the gods, then how can we develop ourselves? Yes, the science follow the practical evidence. God, we cannot find any kind of a practical salvation in a God's word. Getting my point? This is a kind of a thought arrived in the minds of American people, and the sin and salvation is a theme of Puritanism, whereas modern America, freedom and rights. Yes, freedom. Everyone have a right to lead their life. Yes, oftenly if I do a bad, I will get a sin. If I do good, I will be considered as a God's chosen people. This is what the words of Puritanism. I am not following this. This is my life. I can lead my life whether morally or immorally, because I have my own life called a freedom and rights. I can do anything because I want to develop myself. The country can be developed only by the modernity, by the scientific, by the technology, not by following the like God-centered life or a sin or salvation. This is what the thought of American people got. And the community control, personal liberty, community control. Community try to control the all people of America by the taking the name of Bible and God. But these people, like American people, modern American people, personal liberty. No, we have our own liberty whether we choose this or that. Yes, I have that moral thought. Which one is right to me to follow, that one. That is to how much I should follow. and I have to accept the modernity also now. So this is what the thought of American people. At the end of the Puritan era, such kind of people can be seen in during American that colonial period. And the religious law but secular law, all have a right to follow the a kind of a law, not a religious law. What is right, we have to follow. What is wrong, we have to no need to follow that one. Such kind of, so at the Puritan moral spirit still survives in American social ethics. Still after having so much, kind of a awakening kind of a thoughts can be seen in American people, still we have seen the survival of the Puritan morals in American people. So overall, one line explanation of a exam definition means Puritanism in America was 17th century religious and a social system established in New England that is emphasized the Calvinist faith, moral discipline, education and the creation of a God-centered society, and deeply shaping American literature and culture. So deeply shaped. If the literature is written, means the literature must be written in a very cultural way. The literature must be written in a moral way, spiritual way, following the principles of biblical way. This is what the kind of a boundary, kind of a taking care of writing a literature is made by the Puritans in American land. Okay, so overall till now class short revision means migrated during Great Migration 1630 to America, that is New England, and the built New England colonies. Yes, the group of people has invaded or made the colonial in country, means invaded on country and made that country as a colonial part and put the title that is New England colonies, and the followed, what is that, and followed the Calvinism and founded the Harvard College and practiced theocracy and produced early American literature. Yes, with their presence become the kind of a new literature has born in literary world, that is American literature, like early American literature. Yes, and the major writers is Bradstreet, Edwards, Bradford, Mather, and the decline by the 18th century and still influences American moral thinking. So at the end of 17th century, beginning of the 18th century, again we have seen the complete declination of Puritans principles, but still they follow a little bit morality in their way, in their day-to-day life living. So this is what called Puritanism in America. Okay, now that is what called colonial period, early American period, or early American literature, or Puritan period, or age of faith. So hope so you got the little bit information or a knowledge or a detail about American literature, like colonial American literature. Okay, now hope so you have understood this class. If you like this class, please like, share and subscribe. I am sure that know how you came to know about that, how American literature is got the important to and got the important part of our syllabus or studies. Thank you for watching. Bye bye and take care.